Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Get ready to do Countdown, episode number 92. That's right, fans. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Mike, we didn't even get to see a comic book haul this week or any comic book reviews from you on this channel, and maybe one over on Comic Frontline. Well, reason being, fans, is I read all my books digitally this week due to the fact that I teach tennis for a living. And then in the month of December, I don't teach very much tennis due to the holidays. So let's just say that caught up with me, and lack of funding prevented me from getting my books that I needed this week. But again, I was lucky to get my books digitally and read them. So the format of the countdown will be a little bit different, not as in depth as it usually is. I'll go down the list from worst to best, and I plan on getting a couple of digital reviews up because in a countdown like this, I can't go into each and every single book, but I wanted to mention at least my top books, what the ratings were, and a brief reason why. Okay, so with that being said, guys, let's go on this week, and this week we had a total of 18 comics to talk about. Read every single one of them digitally. Let's just say digital books for me, I don't feel as connected to them as I would as a physical copy. So this was a little bit difficult for me, but let's start off with number 18. And number 18 was The Future's End. And I gave this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The Future's End continues to be a disjointed mess. Certain story plots are going on too long, and there's certain ones that I just don't care about. Like right now, the whole Firestorm situation with her and Dr. Makazi, or however you want to say his name, I just don't really care about anymore. We get to see a battle between the Batman Brother's Eye Joker thing battle. We get to see all kinds of stories that just didn't really progress anything this time around. And after I got done reading it, again, this time around, I was like, wow, this was the worst issue of Future's End that I've read in a really long time. The stories are getting stale. I feel like I don't care about Frankenstein anymore. How long are we going to find out if the guy lives or dies, honestly. So again, after reading that book, I gave that one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. All right, next on the list, this time I gave number 17, and that goes to Earth 2 World's End, issue number 16. This time around with Earth 2, we find that Superman is dead, so they could release this red avatar. And all the parademons are now perished. So this is their most successful victory to date. And we get to see that Kara goes, I think Kara and Lois, was it? Or Lois goes with Val or whatnot, and they go to bury Superman. So we get to see that in the actual issue as well. And we find out that the Huntress could possibly be dead. And the best thing about the issue, though, was that pregnant Fury. Yeah, she finally winds up, looks like she's given birth, and it's to Darkseid's spawn. So, yeah, another child from Darkseid or whatnot, but you get to see its hand pop out, and it's like, it's freaking out. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that part. So, that was pretty neat there. So after reading that particular issue, I gave that one a 2.75 stars. All right. Next, number 16 was Supergirl issue number 38. Now, Supergirl issue number 38 was the first issue of Supergirl that I've read in a while. This time they have Kara's in some kind of school, and she's with these other guys, and it felt I couldn't connect to these characters. I couldn't learn all these characters' names in the first issue that I've read here, and what happened was it felt just very generic to me. The ending felt very generic. It had to do with Superboy. They wanted to bring Superboy back, and she's like, well, if you can't let me have Superboy, I think it was Maxima. And she's like, if you can't let me have Superboy, then you're gonna have to go through me. So it was like a very generic ending. The artwork was it was okay, but nothing to shout about, you know. So will I read Supergirl going forward? I'm not sure. Maybe digitally, maybe, but not going out of my way to spend $3 on the particular series. So again, after reading that issue, I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. All right, so moving forward now, we're going to go on to number 15. And number 15 was All New X-Men, issue number 35. And All New X-Men, for me, I feel that the artwork has dropped off a lot in this series due to the fact that Imaninen's, if that's how you say his name, departure from the book. They've filled in with different artists, and I feel that again the artwork is not quite there for me. The stories don't seem quite as intense or interesting. I feel like Brian Michael Bendis has put this series kind of like on a back burner. It's been very repetitive with these young X-Men in here, and this time around we get to see finally we get to see Jean go to Cerebro and winds up collecting all the other X-Men who are lost in time or in different areas of the Earth or whatnot. So that's what you get to see mainly in this issue. I thought this issue was kind of boring, just like the previous issues. It was okay, but nothing to sit there and go, wow, All New X-Men is a top tier book, and it's not anymore. It used to be up there, and slowly each time I'm reading it, it keeps going down and down and down, and eventually I might drop it because I just don't find it appealing anymore. So after reading that one, I did give that one a 3.25 stars. I thought there were some good interactions there, but nothing again to be really excited about. All right, next was number 14 on this week's list. And I must say the comics overall, for the most part, this week were all really, really solid from here on out. And if there wasn't so many comics this week, I would think that this would have been an excellent week for, you know, any one of these books could have been higher up. Next one is Batman Superman, issue number 18. This book gets a 3.5 out of 5 stars on my list. We get to see kind of a revelation here of what's going on with Superman on who his attacker is, or we get to see what is killing these people that are close to Superman. I love how you get to see the character interaction here with Lois, Batman, and Superman. We find out that, you know, in this new 52 that Superman has feelings for Lois. It was discovered here with Batman and whatnot. I think the artwork is done really well here. And we find out that these little Kryptonian people that have been miniaturized by Brainiac in this miniature city has been killing all these people. So they're used as bullets. So I'm not exactly sure who is the killer, but they gotta go to this city and find out what's going on here. Supergirl is thrown into the mix in this particular issue, which I could deal without. I wasn't really, you know, fond of that, and I totally wasn't expecting this outcome here. Superman Batman is a much improved book than what it was when it first came out. So I definitely suggest you guys, if you're looking for these two working together in a book like this, this is the time to pick it up. I really enjoyed it. You know, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was thinking that it would go in a different direction than it did, so I don't know if I'm going to like it or not because I'm not a huge Superman fan and don't know so much of the history of like the miniature city or whatnot, but we'll see where it goes. So again, I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, next, number 13 on my list. And I thought this was a good book. I thought that maybe in any other week this actually could have been higher. And this was much improved from issue number 1. And I thought this was the best issue to date so far. And this was Wolverine's issue number 3. This time around, we get to see a new Wolverine in here or whatnot, or Project X or whatever you want to call them. And I forgot the female's name offhand, but she has this like dog or whatever, cat or whatever it is. But we're getting all the Wolverines and all the Project X people. They're all looking for this girl, and in this issue, it had great character development here on this newest Project X person from Paradise or whatnot. and we find out that she's like this master thief. She can basically steal anything. So they're going to need her to get into Sinister Six's Sinister Six, Mr. Sinister's headquarters, and they're going to need her to actually break in so they can get the statue or actually Wolverine himself. So in order to have these Weapon X projects or rejects or whatever you want to call them from being detonated or killed or whatnot. But the main part of the issue was that this character was developed very nicely. You get to see her go in a mission to try to get Wolverine's shirt, and you get to see that she's this master Wolverine shirt, Punisher's third shirt, and you get to see that she's this master thief. So I enjoyed the issue for what it was. It had good character development. The artwork was a little sketchy for me from what I remember in this particular issue, and but it was good character development. This is the way you introduce these characters. Not in issue 1 where they've thrown all 5 of these, Wolverine rejects at you and you're kind of like, okay, well, here you go. This one, you get to know her. So I feel like I have more of a connection to this Wolverine reject than the others. I keep calling them rejects, but I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to call them. But anyway, this was a much improved issue, better artwork. It fit the book. I think these past 2 issues have been better, and I think Charles Soule now is finally getting a feel for his way towards this Wolverine series. So we'll see where this goes, and I'm going to be reading this digitally, and I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, so going forward now, we go on to Wonder Woman, issue number 12. Now, Wonder Woman, we get to see here the return of Donna Troy, and you get to see that at the end of the issue. And we get to see that she's supposedly now going to be this perfect Amazon or whatnot, and it looks like that her and Wonder Woman are going to do battle, or what's going to happen to be in control. And we can see again in this issue that Wonder Woman is struggling to juggle her roles, and she has this allegiance with the Justice League. She has all these other responsibilities, and it's kind of been repetitive now of what is going on with Wonder Woman. I feel that the artwork has improved. I think David Finch is actually improving on his artwork here. We get to see some great gigantic dragon-like creatures or whatnot. Good facial expressions from Wonder Woman in this issue here. But again, I felt like now this is starting to get repetitive, and I'm hoping that in this next issue we get to see some action here between Wonder Woman and Donna Troy, and seeing what's happened and what's going to happen with Wonder Woman down the road. You do get to see her team up again with the Justice League briefly. She gets called by Cyborg again. So again, it's kind of repetitive type of storyline here, and I want to see some progression. Not as strong as it's been for me, again, just because of that repetitiveness. So I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not a bad issue, good issue. It's just there was a lot of other books out there better this week. All right, next on the list, we go on to number 11. And number 11 was Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 23. This wraps up the whole Venom symbiote thing. Let's just say that it looks like the Venom symbiote now is truly a good guy. It's staying that way. It's not being changed. It's not going to a different person. It's not lost forever. It's just now has a stronger connection with Eugene, with Flash. And that's what you learn about in this issue, where Flash and the symbiote really had some tough times trying to get to learn to each other. But once Flash went to their planet, the symbiote's planet, which was really interesting to see, we get to see them have this stronger bond. And now it's become this armor that is kind of what Flash was kind of hoping for, to protect them better, to help them better through Galaxy and things like that. So it was really interesting to see that interaction between all the Guardians of the Galaxies and Eugene, so they can understand the symbiotes. They're kind of misunderstood, but you get to learn more about their, again, about the species, about how it's very hard to bond with the species, but it's the only way they can communicate is to bond with people and things and creatures and whatnot. The issue was very lengthy. But I felt it was necessary. I mean, they spent this time goofing around with it going to different hosts and whatnot. But we finally got to the point where they went to this planet. We learned about it. We find the outcome that, again, Flash will be a better a host for the symbiote. He probably won't need drugs for it to contain it anymore. And we get to see Flash now be the hero that he is. He continues to be that way. So it'll be interesting to see how Flash turns out in future issues of Spider-Man or Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy or wherever he's going to be. So interesting issue here. Again, did it need to take 3 issues to get to this point? Not really. It was a little lengthy. Yeah, it was. But it was still a good issue. So I liked it for what it was, and I like the new armor, how it's designed. So after reading that one, I gave this one 3 3/4 out of 5 stars. All right, next we go on to the top 10, and top 10 was Spider-Woman issue number 3. I think Spider-Woman has improved. If you read Spiderverse, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to obviously know what happens here, and when we get to see Jessica, she she kind she kind of bothers me. Her personality bothers me a little bit in here because she's captured by Moreland, and she's supposed to pose as his girlfriend or whatever it is, and she just doesn't. She acts so stupid. She's like, "Well, I don't like shrimp, and I don't like to dance, and well, and you think that you have to pretend a little bit so you don't get caught, you know?" And I felt like her personality in here was kind of just at times it was she was just dumb, and it was just like you, in order to complete your mission, you need to kind of fit in a little bit, and she just did such a poor job at doing that. So I don't get that right there. What Dennis Hopeless was trying to do. Maybe it's just showing that she won't take shit from anybody. I don't know, but that kind of bothered me there. Another thing about the issue that I did like, though, is you get to see the full story of her dealing with these scrolls and escaping from the place and whatnot. And then it came to the point where she went on this pirate ship, and I was kind of like, okay, yeah, was that necessary? I guess she went to go hide in a place that no one would expect her to go. I don't know. It was an okay issue. It was good. It was entertaining. The parts where she dealt with Moreland and when she was trying to escape and how she got the scrolls to Spider-Man and whatnot. But then at other times it lacked. I liked the artwork in here. The artwork was pretty good. There was times where you got to see that typical teeth or face, but otherwise his drawings are pretty good. And I love there's one scene where you get to see alternate Earth Mary Jane, and Jessica winds up punching her out. I thought that was really funny there. But otherwise, the issue was okay. It was better than past issues. So after reading this one, I gave this one a 3 3/4 stars. It was entertaining reading, decent artwork. All right, so going forward now, we talk about number 9, and number 9 was from Image Comics, and this is Penny, Dora, and the Wishing Box, issue number 3. This series is great, guys. This is a good family book. A good book for kids to read. I really enjoyed Penny as a character. This time around, if you've read this series, she's got the box. She feels that she wants to give it to her friend Lizzie and to see if she can take care of the box because the box is freaking her out. And we find out that she gives this box into the wrong hands because Lizzie wants nothing but to wish the world away. And after Penny has this crazy dream, she finds out that she's more than just the person to hold the box. She's like the protector of the box. And when you put this box into the person's wrong hands, well, bad things are going to happen. And not that this is a high-scale, crazy action, horrific type of book, but Lizzie winds up wishing, her as a princess. She's a princess now, and she has a palace on her street. And it gets out of control. And Penny, when she goes to get the box back, well, Lizzie doesn't want to give the box back, and she wishes for all kinds of trolls and dragons to her aid to protect her against what is her former best friend Penny now. So I think this is a very interesting read. It's a Pandora's box, but on a much smaller scale, and it's a great book to read to your kids as a comic or have them read on their own. And it went from this little cute book, and now it's getting a little bit darker. And we're going to see now, from what I heard, I think there's going to be a second story arc here. So I like to see these adventures continue with Penny Dora and where the story actually goes. So after reading this particular book, I gave Penny Dora, what was it, a 4 out of 5. All right, so now we're moving on to number 8, and we go on to the Justice League, issue number 38. Justice League, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. We get to see Batman, what he's like, infected by the Amazon virus. And we get to see that he has like powers of a bat, of like as Echo or whatnot. They wind up capturing Patient Zero. We find out that Patient Zero is not a match, is not a cure, and we find out that Superman has been infected with this Amazon virus. I think it was 4 years ago or something like that, because Lex Luthor wanted to destroy Superman. How crazy is that? And it never affected him. So we find out that it looks like that Superman is going to be the one that can cure these people. And let's just say that Superman is pissed off. But as we get to the end of the issue, we wind up finding out that there's another stage to this virus now, I guess before death. And we find out that these all the heroes wind up start saying us, and they're like walking like mindless zombies now. So I was like, wow, this is true apocalyptic love. This is what I love. I love apocalyptic like settings in comics. I love zombies, and now the Justice Leagues are like zombie guys. I was like, this is crazy. And then there's this whole side story, what's going on with Lex Luthor, because he takes one of the people that started this whole thing out of his coma, and he's trying to get information on how who wants him dead. So great issue. I really liked it a lot. Was it as strong as the previous issues? No, I didn't think so, but I still think this is really, really good, guys. And this is, I gave this one a 4 out of 5. All right, so next we're going to go on to number 7. And number 7 was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 13. Now, I gave this one a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I didn't feel that it was quite up to 4.5, and I didn't feel that it was at 4.0 either. So I just decided to put that in between. And this time around with Amazing Spider-Man, we get to learn about Uncle Ben in this world in Earth 3145. And we get to see that in his Earth, he let Peter die. And he blames himself for that. So instead of fixing and saving the world, and great power comes great responsibility, he hid himself in this bunker. And let's just say a whole nuclear bomb happened and whatnot, because of Otto Octavius, which was crazy, and the whole world was destroyed, and he just decided to hide in this bunker. So now when the time is ready to go out and save the world again against the inheritors, we wind up finding out that he doesn't want to go. But we wind up getting this pep talk from from Peter and from Superior, and Superior's like, get your ass up, get to work, don't be a coward, blah blah blah, we've all lost numerous times. And Peter's like, you're not helping. And then Peter's like, yeah, this is what we got to do, we got to stay strong. And then finally he's like, hey, thanks for the pep talk. And then Spider-Man is like, or Peter, or Superior Spider-Man, he's like, the die is cast. And then and he's like, really? And so Peter Parker goes, what was it? Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends or something like that. So I thought it was a cool ending. So because it played tribute to Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. So I really liked that there. It was really fun. Good character moments between certain characters. I thought it was a very busy issue still. And that's been what's dragging this down. And you've really, since all the other Spider-Verse books came out this week, you might be confused on what to read first, and it might spoil some plot lines for you in there too. So that's why I didn't get any higher than the 4.25 stars for me. So, but still a good issue, and it was very fun. Next we go on to number 6, And number 6 this week was Batman and Robin issue number 38. This was a good book too. Really well done. We get to see Damian go out on patrol. He starts using his Robin-like powers, his superpowers. He deflects bullets. His suit gets all destroyed and whatnot. And I thought it was really funny, because he's just so cocky about it. And Batman wants him really to be reserved about the whole situation. And really, what the lesson is here is that we need Robin. He needs his space. He's just been through this whole traumatic thing. He's gone through all kinds of stuff, and he wants to learn more of what happens to him. He's had these crazy dreams. He winds up going to Aquaman. He winds up getting all his other brothers released, and I feel like he wanted closure. And I really appreciate that from the character. He kind of dug deep into him here, and I like the issue. I thought it was really well done here. His brothers are all like deformed and failed creatures, and it was kind of weird. It's kind of like, hey, you guys are free now, so like, where are they gonna go? They're gonna like wander around all over the place. You're like, hey, Robin with two heads. Hey, Damian. Hey, guy. Hey, dude, how you doing? You're running around naked. Everything okay? Like, I kind of don't know where those guys are going from here on out. But it was good to see Robin just, he knows he's a clone and whatnot, and it was nice to see him get that closure and have time to himself there without Batman bogging him down. So I like the story there, what it presented to the reader. I gave that one again 4.25 out of 5 stars. All right, so number 5, and number 5 was Spiderverse Team Up issue number 3. This one, the first story had to do with the whole Spider group, Anya, and going up to I think his name was Karn or whatnot. And he's been like the redheaded stepchild of the inheritors. He's trying to get respect back to his family. And the other ones are taking a gamble, and they're sitting there going, oh, why don't you come with us? It's like, why'd you help us stop, the your family? They don't give you the respect. We can get you, what you want and whatnot. And he's thinking about it, and he's like, but I could eat you guys. And they're like, no, we can maybe suck on. You can let us have some of our life force a little bit at a time and whatnot. It was so funny on how they're actually trying to get him to be on the team, but he would be a major game changer, I feel, in the issue, going forward into this last issue of Spider-Verse. So it was interesting to see. The artwork wasn't there that it should have been, but I thought it was a good, interesting issue to see, okay, now they're going to have an inheritor on their side. So what's going to happen here with him? So I'm not sure. There just seems to be a lot that's going to happen here in this last issue of Spider-Verse. I feel like there's so many unanswered things. Like what's going to happen to all these Spider-Men? What happens to the dead ones? What happens to all these characters? It's just, I don't know. And I don't know if they're going to tell this whole story the right way with one issue left. So, and then in the other part of the story with Spider-Verse Team Up, we have the whole Mayday Parker thing, and we get to see that she is just one angry person. She interacts with Uncle Ben in the issue, and we get to see that she blames herself for everything that's happened, whether it was his parents, Benji taken away, and she's very hard on everything, and she's very angry, and you can see that she's very angry, and she doesn't know how to control this anger because she's lost everything that's important to her. So I can understand her anger here. I'm not as familiar with the character as maybe some of you all, especially Comic Uno. She broke this book down to a science and spent like 10 minutes discussing on a theory of who it could be. I'm not sure if that theory is correct, obviously. I guess we'll all find out. My thought process was always, this is Mayday Parker, and she just doesn't know how to control her anger because she's lost everything that was important to her. And then we're going to see where the story goes from here. You get to see how her powers were used and how they Uncle Ben and her teamed up. And by the time you get to the end of the issue, you wind up seeing that she's still pissed off. And she has every right to be, because think about, not much time has passed since she's lost her parents and her brother, and what is she going to do about it? She can't do anything about it, and that's the thing. So it was a good issue. I really enjoyed it for what it was. I gave this one 4.25 stars, and this was number 5. All right, so number 4 this week, we are talking about Invincible issue number 11. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Great issue, guys. This, if you read Invincible, Robot Rex is his name, has taken over the world, and but for a better way. He wants crime eliminated. He wants things out of the picture that are going to make a peaceful Earth, and he did that. Now, in order to get to that point, he had to kill a lot of people and destroy a lot of things to get there. And a lot of people feel that Earth can't live like this. The world can't be like this. There can't be a perfect Earth. Things are going to happen. Things are going to go wrong, and they need like a normal Earth, like how we all live in. This book was very emotional, had good moments between Adam Eve, and Mark, dealing with ramifications of her loss of her leg. You get to see the interaction with Adam Eve's parents, with Mark. They haven't named the baby yet. We get to see that they don't get along with the parents all so well. And it was a great issue. And Mark has to make a decision if he's going to be the superhero that he was supposed to be on this earth, or if he's going to take Adam Eve and his new family and go live somewhere else. So really great, and it's pivotal in Mark's life because in Invincible we've seen Invincible evolve into a great character. He started off as this teenager with basically no powers. He gets powers. He has a girlfriend. He winds up having getting married. Having a kid, like you've seen him grow up before the reader's eyes, and as a reader you can really appreciate the series if you followed it from the beginning. It's a wonderful series, and I always recommend it, due to the fact that you can maybe not read it in back issues but read it in trades. And Robert Kirkman is so good at character development, and if you've read Invincible from the beginning and you've read him from now, the character has developed 2 times fold. I mean, the guy is it's awesome. It's such a great book to read, and I really appreciate it. This was number 1 on my list for a very long time, and then there were some other books on here that I thought were a little bit better, and I appreciate the story, maybe because I'm a fan of certain characters a little bit more or whatnot. But this book got 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. All right, so next we go on to the top 3, and number 3 this week was Scarlet Spiders, issue number 3. I thought Scarlet Spiders was a great way to end this series. I hated that Genix guy. He was the freak that wound up creating all the freaking inheritors in the for he created all the inheritors. He was like the cloning guy. He created this city, this cloning facility. Every time an inheritor would die, pop, another inheritor would pop out of the cloning facility. And in this issue, it was action, balls to the walls. You get to see this big battle happen between Ben, Kane, and Jessica Drew here, and we wind up seeing them kill Genix like 3 times, and he keeps climbing out of the cloning facility. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, which was a little bit predictable, I think you kind of knew that this was going to happen, is they finally blow up this cloning facility. But it's at the cost and the sacrifice of Ben Reilly. So if you're a Ben Reilly fan, you guys are going to be disappointed that he sacrificed himself. Hopefully that this is not the last time we see Ben Reilly, but this was a great issue. And even when Ben Reilly was getting his ass beat, there was one point where he was just like, Jessica's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And Ben is just like, "Oh, I feel like I was in a blender." And he's like, "Cuisine art." And he's just making these jokes. So it was just like the jokes were there. He sacrificed himself. And the true meaning there was him being a hero. And he did that. He was the hero for the day. And he really shoved it up Genix's ass at the end of the day. And it was a great read. I really enjoyed it this time around. I thought the second issue was like very boring. It took forever for them to get to the point where they needed to. But this point, it concluded the series very well, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Now, Genix is still alive going into Spiderverse, this current issue number 13, but it's the last Gen X and it's the last of any of the inheritors. So if any of them die from this point on, they're dead because there's no more clones. So I thought mission accomplished there. Awesome issue. Really enjoyed it. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right. Number 2 this week was Fantastic Four issue number 642. Yes. First of all, it's great to say issue number 642. It was great to see Marvel decided to finish off this series, even though it's still going on right now, to get back into the original numbering, to kind of have that nostalgic feel that we all loved from, comics, So with issue 642, we get to see more of Mr. Quiet's diabolical plan on how he threw the Fantastic Four under the bus. And I thought that was fantastically done there. It was so well done. I thought James Robinson did a great job here. Lennon Kirk with the artwork was phenomenal, as always. And I'm trying to remember what else actually happened in this issue. Yes, and by the time we wind up getting to the end of this issue, we wind up seeing a reveal of a character that I have not seen. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen, but I have not seen this character since the 90s. And it was Sleepwalker. I was like, hell yeah, it's like Sleepwalker. So he's going to go back and he's going to help S.H.I.E.L.D. and everybody else go into this, I guess, pocket universe or whatnot. And, because he goes into people's dreams. I don't even remember the character. It's been so long since I've read it. But it was a great issue. The artwork was great. I love seeing everything about Mr. Quiet, about everything that he did to throw the Fantastic Four under the bus. It just came full circle here, and I love this series. I really love it. This has been the best Fantastic Four series I've read in a long time, and it's a shame it's ending for now, at least. All right, so out of 18 books this week, we finally got to number 1, and the number 1 comic of the week once again, and I didn't think it was going to happen again, but yes, it's gone to Iron Man issue number 4, or Superior Iron Man issue number 4. I thought this book was, again, another spectacular book, or should I say superior book, and I'll bring this one up for you. Here we can get to see the cover of Superior Iron Man with his foot on Daredevil, just relaxing, because he has one up on Daredevil by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue. And we wind up getting, in the beginning of this issue, we wind up seeing Tony Stark. He's in this actual talk show, and it is called Wake Up San Francisco. And to step up security so people don't hurt people that are jealous of people that have this Extremis 3.0, he's now introduced something else into the world, and it's called Iron Sight. So anybody that does a crime is now recorded. So now they have all these Iron Sight drones all over the place. And basically now he has got, Tony Stark has got the whole San Francisco in the palm of his hand. And the one person that's really stopping him here is Daredevil. Daredevil finds out the plot of what's really happened in this particular issue on how Extremis actually works. Throughout the issue, we wind up seeing that Teen Abomination is going to kind of be experimented on by Tony to figure out what's going on with his powers and why he's the way that he is. But he's going to work with Tony in the meantime. But while he's in his house, Tony makes a thing that, you know what, you can't call yourself Teen Abomination here. He's like, don't call yourself Jamie either, because that is the guy's real name. But Daredevil finds out, again, the real reason why how Extremis works, and it's through the water system. So it was already introduced. It's not just the app in itself. So anybody that drinks the water is, it can get exhumed to this virus. So what happens in here is that Tony knows that he Tony knows what's going on, and he captures Daredevil, and he has to do something very forceful here, and he winds up giving him like electroshock treatment. And what happens is Daredevil doesn't remember anything about the incident. The only thing that he remembers is maybe there was some kind of fight, and it was maybe Teen Abomination. And he's like, it was this long story, and Tony just brushes it off, and he's kind of like, he's just like, get your rest, you need to rest. And we wind up seeing Kirsten McDuffie winds up going up to him, and we just get to see Tony Stark with that egotistical smile on his face going, ha, Daredevil, I beat you. So, and in the next issue, we get to learn about the secret origin of Teen Abomination. Now, this has something saying that maybe this might not be a pick of the week next time around, might be seeming like a filler issue. But nevertheless, we'll see what Tom Taylor does with it. Good issue. Really enjoyed it for what it was. Great stuff. Great artwork. I love how Tony just comes up with every type of contingency. Anytime that you think that someone might get one up on him, he comes back and fights back to stop this. But now that you know that this Extremis 3.0 it was in the water and people drank it, and then he released it that way, says a whole lot there. So how are they going to get rid of this? How is it going to stop? I'm not sure, but it's really interesting story. I love the emotional factors here when Tony felt like he was getting beat, and he kind of come up with some kind of contingency. Great issue. I can't wait to see what happens with Superior Iron Man in the end. But one of my favorite series so far. This year, period. It's in 4 issues, 4 times it's been number 1. I don't say that a lot with a lot of other comics that are number 1 on my list that I've gotten it 4 times consecutively like that. So, but yeah, guys, there you have it. There's the countdown for the week. Sorry, it's not the traditional way, but a lot of comics we did talk about, we did cover today. And guys, tell me your worst, tell me your best, and tell me all that other stuff in between. And guys, this has been the Countdown, episode number 92. Hopefully you enjoyed. And until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spiderslayer signing off. Thanks for watching, fans. Take care.